New questions in the Ring of Fire pullout. The regional hospital defends a controversial hiring. And Saskatchewan celebrates as the Riders roll to Grey Cup victory.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. New allegations were raised at Queen's Park today about the Cliffs pullout from the Ring of Fire.
Leader of the NDP suggested the province may have failed to live up to a closed-door agreement with the mining company for a road to the chromite deposit. But the government's finance minister refused to divulge any such information. Jonathan Wilson has more.
According to NDP leader Andrea Horwath, in May 2012, the province confirmed it had an initial agreement known as a term sheet with Cliffs regarding its plans to process chromite near Sudbury. But Horwath says she couldn't get a straight answer at Queen's Park regarding what the government promised in return.
Transportation infrastructure is a huge challenge for bringing jobs to the Ring of Fire. Can the acting premier confirm that the government signed a commitment around creating a road? And if so, what was that commitment, Speaker?
The member opposite is asking us to provide and divulge sensitive commercial negotiations. That's improper, and that is exactly why they would put it at risk. We will not put our province at risk in these discussions. We're going to do everything necessary to move forward with the Ring of Fire.
Finance Minister Charles Sousa, the acting premier, was hammered by both opposition parties over Cliffs Natural Resources' announcement last week to close offices and pull out from the Ring of Fire.
Your lack of vision and hope has sent Ontario businesses packing. Extrata Copper, Caterpillar, U.S. Steel, Heinz, and now Cliffs Resources pulling out of the greatest opportunity in a generation, the Ring of Fire, all gone.
It's been clear that the Liberals have failed to put in place the framework needed to take advantage of the Ring of Fire. Whether it's energy, whether it's roads, or helping First Nations find common ground with business, the government has failed on every single count.
It is essential that we take the opportunities that exist in the far north in a very pragmatic and strategic way. We've established a development corporation to look into the best way to provide value for Ontario. We've had ongoing discussion with a number of proponents. We are doing exactly what is necessary to provide for the smelting and the processing here in Ontario.
Sousa adds the province will continue to push the federal government to commit matching funding to the infrastructure needs for the Ring of Fire. Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
The Regional Health Sciences Centre is defending its decision to hire the former president and CEO of the Orange Air Ambulance Service. Dr. Chris Mazza started in the hospital's emergency department this weekend as a short-term locum physician. Mazza was the central figure in a scandal at the agency in 2011 that involved executive compensation and for-profit activities. A police investigation of the matter is still ongoing, but Chief of Staff at the hospital, Dr. Gordon Porter, says the decision to hire Mazza wasn't about politics. It was about what's best for the hospital. Mazza was eager to return to clinical medicine, and Porter called the feedback from this past weekend exemplary. Porter says it was a chance to explore opportunities for a doctor with a specialty in emergency medicine.
Apart from potential publicity, I'm not at all concerned because my role as the Chief of Staff is to ensure that the quality and safety for every patient received in this hospital is appropriate, that the professional staff are credentialed based on their merit, on their medical basis and training, and based on that and through the due diligence in the proper process, I have no concern whatsoever.
Porter is hopeful that Mazza will consider a long-term role in the emergency department, especially with the recent departure of 6 ER physicians, but it remains unclear if or what the role could be. Porter adds there's a long-term plan in place for the hospital to be fully independent of all locum physicians by 2015.
Staying with the hospital, staff and patients are again dealing with a gridlock situation. An influx of alternate level of care patients is causing the backup that started at the beginning of November. Executive Vice President of Patient Services, Rhonda Crocker-Ellicott, says there are currently 62 ALC patients waiting for additional care, which is down 2 from Friday. She says they've opened 10 more interim overcapacity beds in addition to the other 11 that were recently made available. There is no pattern or reason to suggest why the overcrowding is happening again, and Crocker-Ellicott says all they can do is take it day by day.
So operate 26 beds between our treatment rooms and our family rooms for overcapacity. So all of those areas are full. So we're really running at significant levels of overcapacity, and we've been in gridlock since November 4th, and there are no signs that it will let up anytime soon.
After canceling 3 surgeries last week, Crocker Ellicott says they didn't have to cancel any today. She adds that they're working with the local LIN, St. Joseph's Care Group, and other partners to help resolve the system-wide problem.
Thunder Bay Police are looking for a male suspect to rob the Boston Pizza on Memorial Avenue this weekend. Police were called to the restaurant just after 1 a.m. on Sunday. It was reported that a man approached the hostess counter demanding money. No weapon was seen, but a staff member was threatened. The suspect left with an undisclosed amount of cash. He's described as Caucasian, approximately 25 years of age, 5'8" with an average build. The man was last seen heading towards Memorial Avenue. Anyone with information is asked to contact Thunder Bay Police or Crime Stoppers.
A Thunder Bay man charged earlier this month in connection with the sending of a series of threatening letters has entered a guilty plea in court. 46-year-old Eric Werkela was arrested at the beginning of the month and charged with 65 counts of uttering threats. Today, Werkela pled guilty to 16 charges after several of them were amended and amalgamated. The letters were mailed between July and October of last year and targeted politicians and other individuals, along with business and media outlets. Werkela will remain in custody until his sentencing on January 17th.
City police have made an arrest in a hit-and-run collision on Arthur Street around 8 o'clock Sunday morning. The driver had attempted to flee with the vehicle after smashing into the front steps of a home near Kelly Street. When he couldn't move the vehicle, he ran away. A 44-year-old man was eventually picked up and faces a charge of impaired driving as well as failing to remain at the scene.
As the city's new courthouse nears completion, some concerns are being expressed about a perceived lack of parking for lawyers and members of the public. But according to the city's parking authority, there are enough spaces in the busy South Core, at least for a few years. And if the demand does outgrow the supply, they're committed to dealing with the problem. Ryan Bonazzo has more.
It's a $247 million state-of-the-art facility, complete with 15 courtrooms to service people from across northwestern Ontario. But where are they all going to park? That's what Law Association President Chris Hassio wants to know. While he's excited for the new facility to open, he simply doesn't think there are enough parking spaces to accommodate everyone.
That creates difficulty for both members of the public and members of our association trying to service members of the public and provide legal services to them.
The last thing he wants is for a client to have to circle the block a few times in search of a parking space, only to ultimately show up late for a court appearance. So just how many parking spots are available on the property?
So we have 65 on the site adjacent to the building and 168 across the street in the parking lot there. As for use and adequacy, I can't comment on that, but those were the numbers dictated to us, and that's what we've built and provided.
James Cody of the City Parking Authority feels there will be enough spaces, at least initially. He's been told the courthouse won't reach full capacity in terms of number of staff for several years. And if the parking demand does outgrow the supply, the city is committed to fixing that.
Once the courthouse opens up, if we determine there's an issue with parking supply, it really is our goal to make sure we deal with that and provide enough supply for the area.
What we're hoping the city is going to do is they acquire more property and make more parking spots available within close proximity to the courthouse.
And they've already begun doing just that, says Cody. The city has already purchased a nearby lot on the corner of Miles and North Streets.
It's about a 150-car parking lot, and the intent of that lot, or our intent, is to use that lot for courthouse customer parking.
That brings the total number of parking spaces up over 380, not including the Victoriaville Parkade. Will that be enough? Only time will tell. Ryan Bonazzo, TBT News.
The Thunder Bay MNR is releasing details of a recent enforcement blitz involving local deer hunters. The blitz took place on November 16th and included conservation officers both on the ground and in a helicopter, along with the MNR K9 unit and assistance from the OPP. A total of 11 charges were laid for infractions such as hunting without a license, trespassing, and failing to wear hunter orange. Officers also seized 2 deer and 4 firearms and issued 7 warnings.
With the frigid temperatures upon us, local homeless shelters are developing a cold weather plan. The heads of the Salvation Army and Thunder Bay Shelter House will be at City Hall tonight to ask Council to partner with them. The organizations say the rate of homelessness in Thunder Bay has increased dramatically, and they want to ensure everyone who needs access to a shelter this winter gets it. Shelter House Executive Director Patty Hyde says even with the addition of 20 overflow mats, they're still turning away about 10 people a night. Hyde feels that's dangerous with the colder temperatures setting in. The cold weather plan would include more collaboration between the two shelters, a mobile outreach team, and daytime admissions for intoxicated people. Council will also receive a business plan for a new youth centre. The Indian Friendship Centre's $10 million vision would include a $2.5 million contribution from the city. $300,000 in annual operating funds will also be requested. Councillor Paul Pugh is supportive of the idea and of providing the money for the new youth shelter.
We would have to be paying that no matter where it was, probably more, because if we were going alone, it would be quite a bit more expensive. So this allows us to do what we want to do for less.
Council will not make a decision on providing the support for the proposed youth centre until mid-January.
Employees at OLG Casino Thunder Bay could soon see their operations privatized by the Ontario government. The potential change has prompted close to 200 of them to vote to join the United Steelworkers Union. In the past couple of weeks, a certification campaign took place focusing on the casino employees. Many of them raised the issue of privatization and demanding job insecurity. A vote that was organized by the Ontario Labour Relations Board resulted in casino employees voting 68% in favor of joining the USW. Union Rep Herb Danier says now the obligation lies with the employer to start bargaining. He thinks the union will help address concerns.
Certainly they all have a common theme to protect their interests and protect their jobs. Some of them are long-term employees at this particular site, and we're going to do our best to basically protect those particular interests, and now they have a common voice in the workplace. And it's with our organization, I think that we're going to be in a good situation to get a fair collective bargaining agreement and make sure that they have the right so they have some form of job security when it all comes out in the end.
Danaher says the next step of this is very complex because of all the security questions that need to be answered. However, he expects things to move forward in the coming weeks.
Students from across the city have come together to help kick off the Thunder Bay White Ribbon Campaign. The event is one of the world's largest movements aiming to end violence against women. And students at Sir Winston Churchill High gathered today to try and inspire other youth. Courtney Rutherford reports.
I think it made some people more aware, made me more aware too.
Danielle Prochnicki is talking about a workshop which she and 80 friends from school took part in. The White Ribbon Campaign aims to end violence against women, to promote gender equity, and to change the views of masculinity.
Building a foundation for what a healthy relationship looks like, learning red flags of an abusive situation are important, and it'll help them move forward and choose hopefully equal relationships where they're respected.
You can't change other people, but you can stop being a doormat.
Research indicates that reaching youth through violence prevention during their school years has shown positive results on changing attitudes and impacting dating violence rates. A number of guest speakers took the microphone, including athletes from Lakehead University. It was a chance for students to help other youth become a part of the solution and to inspire one another to develop relationships based on respect.
A good thing to know the warning signs so that you could know if you're in a toxic relationship.
Well, just so if for the future, if you see anyone or yourself are doing it, then you can prevent it and tell others to not do it.
I just kind of thought that there was like different things going on in the world, not that.
The local White Ribbon Campaign is a collaboration between the Thunder Bay District Health Unit, Catholic Family Development Center, AIDS Thunder Bay, and Lakehead University. Courtney Rutherford, TBT News.
Thunder Bay finally got its first taste of snow yesterday, but it was just the icing on the cake for officials at Loch Lomond ski area, where they've been making the white stuff for weeks. Now, local skiers and snowboarders were able to pull their equipment out of the closet for the first time this weekend, as several ski runs were open to the public. Mike Albanese has the story.
Taking a look around Thunder Bay within the last week, you wouldn't expect any grade A skiing or snowboarding to be available, at least not yet. Things aren't always as they seem, though. Loch Lomond has slopes all ready to be carved up because they have been making artificial snow with an arsenal of 19 snow guns.
We had a very good last week of snowmaking.
We had temperatures of -14, -15 in the evening and -8 in the afternoon. So the snowmaking was tremendous. We were pumping out about 800 gallons a minute of water, turning that into snow. So we managed to get the upper Sun Bowl, lower Sun Bowl, and the cliff open for this weekend, and everybody just loves it.
Now I'm sure everyone is excited to have the ability to get up on their skis and snowboards and go down the trails, but is the artificial snow as enjoyable as it's made out to be? Does it feel the same as natural snow, or is there just something off about it? We caught up with Joanne Lower and Allie Austin, who were at the hill skiing, and asked just that.
Absolutely. I was just thinking about that coming down. I can't really pick out any characteristics that make it different from real snow. You know, it's fast, it's not icy. To me, it's snow, so it's good.
So in Lower's opinion, the artificial snow makes the cut, and by the looks of things, people are clearly enjoying it. There was a weather update that said there could be up to 5 centimeters of snowfall throughout the day to boot. So even if there is some skeptics who don't believe in the man-made powder, they still have a chance to ride on nature's finest within the coming days.
I would be very excited to finally get some natural snow, so it'll be good. It helps a lot with the grooming and soften up the surface of this, and it's better for the skiers and snowboarders.
With already a great turnout on just the man-made snow, Loch Lomond can only expect the number of people to multiply as the snow starts falling this winter season. Bond said that overall people are indifferent about whether their snow is man-made or not, as long as they can go out and get their boots wet.
That's great. For a Sunday, when it's sort of cold this morning, it's never really super busy here on Sunday mornings, but yeah, we had the people lined up this morning, so it was sort of fun.
The weather is finally cold enough to ensure that the snow will stay when it comes. There's no question about that. The only question is, when will the snow come and how much? Winter sports enthusiasts are probably hoping soon and plenty. Mike Albanese, TBT News.